Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. So DPT class, today's your lecture is about anti-arrhythmic drugs. Please listen to the lecture carefully and thoroughly. Learning objectives of today's lecture is that by the end of the lecture, the students will be able to recall normal physiological functions of the heart. Then they will be able to explain the pathophysiology of arrhythmias. They will be able to enlist the principles of treatment. Then they will be enabled to classify the antiarrhythmic drugs. Then they will also be enabled to describe the antiarrhythmic action uses and adverse effects of class 1 drugs. Properties of the cardiac muscle. These are the properties of the cardiac muscle. Number one, automaticity. That is the spontaneous impulse generation from cardiac muscle. Number two, rhythmicity. That is regular impulse generation from cardiac muscle. Then excitability. That is ability to respond to an electrical impulse by generating a propagated action potential. Then fourth is conductivity. That is orderly conduction of impulse. Then finally contractility. That is the force with which the heart contracts. That is the normal conduction pathway of the impulse. Impulse generate at SA node, and from the SA node, electrical impulse spreads from SA node throughout left and right atrium, and then it arrive at atrioventricular node or AV node. Then electrical impulse spreads from AV node to bundle branch, and before bundle branch it arrives at his bundle, and from his bundle it arrives at bundle branch, and from bundle branch it spreads throughout right, left, and right ventricles. Normal cardiac rhythm is 60 to 100 beats per minute. Every heartbeat must originate from SA node. Every impulse should pass through normal conduction pathway. Cardiac impulse should pass through normal pathway with normal velocity. That is through atria with moderate speed, through atrioventricular node, very low speed of conduction, and very fast through bundle of His and Purkinje fibers. Um, so this is the normal cardiac rhythm. Now, the classification of arrhythmia, heart rate, when it is less than 60 beats per minute, heart may be into bradyarrhythmia, that is 40 to 60. It is mild, and 20 to 40, it is moderate bradyarrhythmia, and 0 to 20 heartbeat, it means severe bradyarrhythmia. And when heart rate is greater than 100 beats per minute, it is tachyarrhythmia. 100 to 150 simple tachyarrhythmia, 100 to 150 to 250 it is paroxysmal tachyarrhythmia, then 250 to 350 it is they are flutters, and above 350 it is fibrillations. uh, Now this is the action potential in atria, Purkinje fibers, and ventricle. In phase one, there is first phase is phase zero. Phase zero, which is the first, there is fast upstroke. That fast upstroke is due to sodium influx, and then depolarization phase. Phase zero is a depolarization phase due to sodium influx. It is a fast upstroke. The next phase is phase one. Partial depolarization. That partial depolarization occurred due to rapid efflux of potassium. And then phase two, which is the plateau phase occurred due to the calcium influx. And next phase is phase three, which is repolarization, and which repolarization occurred due to potassium efflux. And phase four is the resting membrane potential phase. So this is the action potential in atria, Purkinje fibers, and ventricles. Action potential we generate in SA node or pacemaker is a little bit different. This is the action potential, pacemaker action potential, or the action potential at the SA node. Pacemaker cells have unstable membrane potential, so they can generate action potential spontaneously. At phase 4, pacemaker and action potential is due to sodium influx and potassium efflux and calcium influx until the cell reaches threshold and then turns into phase 0. Then phase 0 is upstroke. That upstroke or depolarization is due to calcium influx. And there is no phase 1 and phase 2. in pacemaker action potential or SA node action potential. After phase 0, there is phase 3. Phase 3 is repolarization phase due to potassium efflux. And after repolarization phase, there is again phase 4. And phase 4 is pacemaker action potential. So pacemaker action potential is little bit different than the other action potential which generate at ventricle and Purkinje fibers. Because pacemaker cells have unstable membrane potential, they can generate action potential spontaneously due to sodium influx and calcium influx and potassium efflux. And at the phase 0, that rapid repolarization of stroke is due to calcium influx. Now, the types of arrhythmias, supraventricular arrhythmias include sinus arrhythmias, sinus tachycardia, high sinus rate of 100 to 100 beats per minute occurs during exercise or other conditions like fever and thyrotoxicosis that lead to increased nodal firing rate. Then sinus bradycardia, sinus rate of less than 60 beats per minute occurs in athletes, hypothyroidism, hypothermia, obstructive jaundice. Then atrial arrhythmias, atrial tachycardia, a series of three or more consecutive atrial premature beats occurring at a frequency of 125 to 250 beats per minute. Then paroxysmal atrial tachycardia, tachycardia which begins and ends in acute manner. Then next is atrial flutter, that is sinus rate of 250 to 350 beats per minute. Then next is atrial fibrillation. Atrial fibrillation is uncoordinated atrial repolarizations. Then next is junctional or nodal arrhythmias. Junctional bradycardia, junctional, which is also known as junctional block, nodal block, heart block. A conduction block within the AV node, occasionally in the bundle of His, that impairs impulse conduction from the atria to the ventricles. Next is ventricular arrhythmias, which include ventricular premature beat, which is caused by ectopic ventricular foci. It is characterized by widened QRS. Then next is ventricular tachycardia, high ventricular rate caused by abnormal ventricular automaticity or by intraventricular reentry phenomena, which is characterized by widened QRS complex. Rates of 100 to 200 beats per minute. It is life-threatening phenomena. The next is ventricular flutter, ventricular depolarization greater than 200 per minute. The next is ventricular fibrillation. It is uncoordinated ventricular depolarizations. Then next is causes of arrhythmias. It is due to arteriosclerosis, coronary spasm, heart block, myocardial ischemia. Now the mechanisms of arrhythmia. Arrhythmia may occur due to abnormal impulse generation. Why there is abnormal impulse generation? Abnormal impulse generation is due to automatic rhythms and triggered rhythms. Automatic rhythms is further classified as there may be enhanced normal automaticity and there may be ectopic focus. In enhanced normal automaticity, there is increased action potential from SA node. And in ectopic focus, action potential arises from sites other than SA node. That is abnormal electrical conduction due to ventricular ectopic foci. And in trigger rhythms, there may be delayed after depolarization and they may be early after depolarization. And delayed after depolarization arises from the resting membrane potential. While early after depolarization, it arises from the plateau phase. Next is abnormal conduction. Abnormal conduction is either due to conduction block or either due to re-entry phenomena. Conduction block is characterized as first degree heart block, second degree heart block, third degree heart block. And conduction block, this is when the impulse is not conducted from the atria to the ventricles. And in re-entry phenomena, the normal pathway is that the impulse generated at SA node and from SA node it travels to AV node and from AV node it travels to bundle of His and then to it travels from right and left bundle branch to both the ventricles. But whenever, as shown in the right black arrow, that pathway of the impulse is blocked. So the impulse from this pathway travels in retrograde fashion, that is travel in the backward path. So the cells here will be excited first by the original pathway and then again from the retrograde pathway. Now, the principles of treatment: asymptomatic arrhythmias, there will be no treatment. Non-pharmacological measures include pacemakers, placement of certain pacemakers, cardioversion treatment, placement of catheter, and then surgery. Antiarrhythmic drugs are classified as class 1A, class 1B, class 1C. Then next class 2, class 3, class 4. Class 1A, these are the mnemonics. Double quarter pounder. One double quarter pounder, D for disopyramide, Q quinidine, and pounder, P for procainamide. Then class 1B drugs, this is with lettuce, mayo, and tomato. These are the mnemonics from lettuce, lidocaine, next mayo, mexiltine, and tomato tocinide. That's class 1C drugs. Mnemonics are the more fries, please, from M, moricizine, and F, flecainide, and P, propafenone. Class 2 drugs, beta blockers, LOL, propranolol, atenolol, metoprolol. Then class 3 drugs, this is mnemonics is SAD, sotalol, amiodarone, dofilitide. Class 4 drugs, mnemonics are I and 5 in class 4. In these group, drugs include diltiazem and verapamil. Next, classification according to the mechanism, which include class 1A drug. Examples include quinidine, procainamide. They are sodium channel blockers. They have intermediate association or dissociation with the sodium channels. Next class, intermediate associations means they have intermediate duration of action. Next, class 1B drugs examples include lidocaine and phenytoin. Sodium channel blockers, they have fast association or dissociation with the sodium channels. They act rapidly. They rapidly dissociate from the sodium channels. Next is class 1C drugs. Examples include flecainide, propafenone. They're also sodium channel blockers. They have slow association or dissociation from the sodium channels. That is, um, they slowly unbind from the sodium channels. Next, class 2 drugs are propranolol and metoprolol. They are beta blockers. Propranolol also shows some class 1 actions. Next drugs are the amiodarone, sotalol. They are the potassium channel blockers. Sotalol is also a beta blocker. Amiodarone has also class 1, 2, 3, and 4 activity. Next is 4, verapamil and diltiazem. It is calcium channel blockers. Last is 5, adenosine and digoxin. It is worked by unknown mechanism. They are direct nodal inhibitors. Therapeutic classification: drugs effective in supraventricular arrhythmias include beta blockers, verapamil, digoxin, while the drugs effective in ventricular arrhythmias include lidocaine, phenytoin, maxilitine. While the drugs effective in supraventricular and ventricular arrhythmias include quinidine, procainamide, disopyramide, and amiodarone. Now, the action of drugs in case of abnormal generation and in case of what will be the action in case of abnormal conduction. The action of drugs in case of abnormal generation, the drugs decrease the phase 4 slope in pacemaker cells especially. So they raises the threshold of action potential, and if in case of no abnormal conduction, they will decrease the conduction velocity. Remember phase 0. So, and they also increase the effective refractory period, so the cell would not be re-excited again. No, class 1 drugs, sodium channel blockers. They have also class 1A, 1B, and 1C. Three groups of drugs, class 1A and 1C. They act on open sodium channels or inactivated sodium channels only. Class 1A have also moderate potassium channel blockade activity. Both, um, both class 1A and only class 1A, they increase the effective refractory period. And class 1B drug have no effect on the effective refractory period. Class 1B drug shorten or decrease the effective refractory period, while class 1C drug have no effect on the effective refractory period. Class 1B drug, they decrease the conduction velocity in non-nodal tissues, that is at the atria, ventricles, and Purkinje fibers. So class 1B drugs are used mainly when many sodium channels are opened, like in case of tachycardia only, because in normal rhythm the channels will be at rest state, so the drugs would not work in this case. So class 1b drugs act upon only on depolarized tissues. Now the class 1A drug mechanism of action. If you looked at the diagram, the class 1A drugs slow the phase 0 depolarization, and when they slow the phase 0 depolarization, they prolong the action potential and slow conduction. Now the um as I told you earlier in the table, that they have intermediate association with sodium channels. So their duration of action is like 1 to 10-second blockade of sodium channels. Slowing of the rate, they show slowing of the rate of rise in phase 0. They are moderate depressant of phase 0 and AV. They show moderate depression of both phase 0 and AV conduction depression. They prolong the muscle action potential duration, and they also increase the effective refractory period. They decrease the slope of phase 4 spontaneous depolarization, so they decrease the enhanced normal automaticity. So these drugs slow the phase 4 depolarization, prolonged action potential, and slow conduction. And they also increase the effective refractory period. Why they increase the refractory period? Because they also block the potassium channels. They also block some potassium channels. So they show slowing of the rate of rise in phase 0. Now the pharmacokinetics drugs of procainamide, quinidine, and disopyramide. Procainamide is a prototype drug. They have good oral bioavailability. They have relatively short half-life, or like about 3 to 4 hours. Procainamide metabolized into N-acetyl procainamide, which is cleared by the kidney, and that drug should be avoided in renal failure. Next is quinidine. It had good oral bioavailability, and quinidine is metabolized in the liver. Next is disopyramide. It has good oral bioavailability, and disopyramide has long duration of action. Now the pharmacological effects procainamide. It is sodium channel blockade. It prolonged the QRS complex due to increase in action potential duration. It has some ganglion blocking effects. Next drug is quinidine. It is also potassium channel blockade. It also shows potassium channel blockade like procainamide. It has modest antimuscarinic effect. And disopyramide, it has marked antimuscarinic effect. Now the uses, quinidine is used in AV junction and ventricular arrhythmias, and quinidine is also an antimalarial drug. Procainamide is used in ventricular tachycardia and post myocardial infarction ventricular arrhythmias. IV procainamide is used for acute conversion of atrial fibrillation, including Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. Next, class 1A drugs toxicity, quinidine. The toxic effects of quinidine or side effects are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Mnemonics are NVD. Then torsade de pointes. Torsade de pointes is the arrhythmia occur due to prolonged QT interval because it increase the effective refractory period. When it increase the effective refractory period, QT interval is prolonged. So quinidine is itself arrhythmogenic. It may cause synchronism. What are synchronism? When the following symptoms occurs like dizziness, tinnitus, headache, and vertigo. Idiosyncratic or immunological reaction occur with the use of this type of drug. Next drug is next toxic effects are procainamide. Torsade de pointes also occurs with procainamide and hypersensitivity, fever, agranulocytosis. Next adverse effects are systemic lupus erythematosus like SLE, like arthralgia, fever, pleural, pericardial inflammation. Symptoms are dose and time dependent. It's common in patients with slow hepatic acetylation. Next, class 1B drug. Class 1B drugs shorten phase 3 repolarization and decrease the duration of the action potential. It has less than 1 second blockade it shows less than 1 second blockade of sodium channels, as are already told in the table that they show rapid association or dissociation from the sodium channels. They shorten the phase 3 repolarization and they also decrease the duration of the action potential. They have minimal action on phase 0 and AV conduction depression. They decrease the action potential duration. They also decrease the effective refractory period. They shorten the plateau phase. Prototype drug in this class is lidocaine. This group is use-dependent blockade with rapid kinetics. What is use-dependent blockade? Use-dependent blockade means it has a greater effect on the cells which are partially repolarized or which are depolarized. It means they show greater effect on depolarized cells, while they have no effect on normal cells. Cells which show normal automaticity or normal rhythm, they have no effect on such cells. They have effect on depolarized tissues. Like they show action when the cells are in tachycardia. So they also so this is the phenomena of use dependent blockade. ठीक है? It's clear. Use dependent blockade means they have more effect on cells with partial repolarized or depolarized state. They have no effect on cells which are already in normal rhythm or show normal automaticity. They are sodium channel blocker. They shorten the action potential duration in depolarized cells. And they show rapid kinetics. They have rapid association with sodium channels. In depolarized cells result in the selective depression of conduction and little effect is seen on the ECG in case of normal sinus rhythm. Extracardiac effects of lidocaine include in CNS paresthesia, tremor, nausea, hearing defects, slurred speech, convulsions. Pharmacokinetics, they have poor bioavailability. They should never be given orally. Dose assessment required in liver disease. Uses include post myocardial infarction, ventricular arrhythmias, digoxin-induced arrhythmias. Side effects include it is the least cardiotoxic. Hypotension may occur due to pre-existing heart failure. CNS effects may occur. Now, the class 1C drugs include flecainide and propafenone. Class 1C drugs markedly slow phase 0 depolarization. They have potent blockade and they show uh, slow they slowly dissociate from the sodium channel, so they show blockade for greater than 10 seconds. They predominantly blocked sodium channels. They show marked they depress phase 0 and AV conduction. They have minor effects on the duration. They have no effect on the duration of action potential and effective refractory period. So class 1A drug, they prolong the effective refractory period and action potential. Class 1B drug, they shorten the action potential and refractory period, and class 1C drug have minor effect, no effect on the duration of action potential and effective refractory period. Class 1C drugs are only used in patients with structurally normal heart in case of recurrent atrial fibrillation. Toxicity and cautious for class 1C drugs. They have low safety and increased mortality. This drug is also itself pro-arrhythmogenic. So a severe worsening of a pre-existing arrhythmia may occur. Occurrence of life-threatening ventricular tachycardia may occur. Class 1 antiarrhythmic drug effects on the ventricular action potential. Class 1A drug increase the on ECG increase the QRS complex, increase QT interval, and class 1B drug it shortened the QT interval, while class 1C drug it also increases the QRS complex. Class 1A drug they have 10-second blockade, 1B drug less than 1 second blockade, and 1C drug potent blockade greater than 10-second block greater than 10-second block. Class 1A drug it is preferential for preferably for activated sodium channels. Class 1B drugs preferential for inactivated sodium channels or sodium channels which are in the depolarized state, and class 1C drug predominantly block activated sodium channels. Now the class 1A drug they have action on phase 0 and AV conduction. They depress phase 0 and AV conduction, while class 1B drugs they have minimal depressant action on 0 and minimal depressant action on AV nodal conduction. They only slow conduction in depolarized tissues. And class 1C drug they have marked depressant action on phase 0 and AV conduction. Next, in class 1A drugs, there may be slight increase in action potential duration. In class 1B drugs, there is decrease in action potential duration, while in class 1C drug, they have no effect on action potential or effective refractory period. In class 1A, their effective refractory period is increased. In class 1B drugs, effective refractory period is decreased. Now the learning objectives of the other drugs. This is the next session of the other, and this is the next session of the antiarrhythmic drugs. Learning objectives is that by the end of the lecture you will be able to describe the important antiarrhythmic actions, therapeutic uses and adverse effects of class 2 drugs, explain the action uses and side effects of class 3 drugs, describe the action uses and adverse effects of class 4 drugs, and briefly describe the salient features of adenosine as an antiarrhythmic and its toxicity. Class 2 antiarrhythmic drugs includes propranolol, esmolol, and metoprolol. They decrease the heart rate, they decrease the conduction velocity, they increase the PR interval. Class 2 drugs are beta blockers. Now the class 2 drugs, they show what they have effect on pacemaker cell action potential, and they decrease the slope of phase 4 depolarization, and they also prolong the repolarization at AV node. When they decrease the phase 4 slope, their decrease rate of firing, they will be decreased automaticity, and when they prolong the repolarization of AV node, they increase the effective refractory period. When they increase the effective refractory period, they decrease the re-entry phenomena. Uses of class 2 antiarrhythmic drugs include tachyarrhythmias of sympathetic overactivity, atrial flutter, atrial fibrillation, AV nodal reentry tachycardia, prevention of post-myocardial ventricular arrhythmias. Adverse effects include in CVS there may be cardiodepression, bradycardia, heart blocks, cardiac failure, cold extremities, worsening of peripheral vascular disease. In respiratory tract there may be bronchospasm. In CNS there may be sleep disturbances, nightmares. In metabolic case, there may be masking of hypoglycemia, increased triglycerides, reduced HDL. Now, the class 3 antiarrhythmic drugs are potassium channel blockers. Class 3 drugs prolong the phase 3 repolarization without altering or without changing phase 0. Class 3 drugs include sotalol, amiodarone, and abutalic. Amiodarone, it is highly lipid soluble. Half-life is 60 days, potent 4V450 inhibitor. Amiodarone, it is arrhythmic effect is complex. Amiodarone also show class 1, 2, 3, and 4 actions. It has the low incidence of torsades pointers. They amiodarone prolong the action potential duration without altering phase 0. They prolong the effective refractory period. They show action of all clauses. So it is broad spectrum. They slow the heart rate and they slow the AV conduction. They prolong the QT interval, and by which phenomenon they increase the effective refractory period. They increase the refractory period by blocking the potassium channels. Extra cardiac effect includes alpha blocking action when drug is used IV. Therapeutic uses include atrial flutter and fibrillation, ventricular tachycardia. Now the amiodarone side effects in GIT includes nausea, vomiting, taste disturbances. They may cause light sensitive blue-gray discoloration of the skin, and on heart they may show bradycardia, heart block, dysrhythmias, prolonged QT interval, and hypotension. There may be microcorneal microdeposits in the eye, and they also cause hypothyroidism due to because they block conversion of T4 to T3, and they may cause hyperthyroidism due to iodine content of the drug, and they may also cause interstitial lung disease due to pulmonary fibrosis, and on the liver they may cause hepatitis. So adverse effects are very vast. Now the interaction of the amiodarone with digoxin, it increased the plasma concentration of digoxin. Warfarin, it also increased the plasma concentration of warfarin. With beta blockers and calcium channel blockers, both cause depression of the heart, causing hypotension and bradycardia. Dronedarone, next drug of this class, it is devoid of thyroid effects and because it does not contain iodine. Class 4 antiarrhythmic drugs are calcium channel blockers. Class 4 drugs slow phase 4 spontaneous depolarization and slow conduction in tissues dependent upon calcium currents such as the AV node. Effects: block calcium channels, decrease the heart rate, they increase the AV conduction effective period, they show peripheral vasodilatation. Therapeutic uses include in supraventricular tachycardia, they control the ventricular rate in supraventricular tachycardia. Adverse effects include heart block, bradycardia, constipation, lassitude, fatigue, nervousness, and peripheral edema. Next is adenosine. Its half-life is less than 10 seconds. Mechanism of action is that adenosine receptors activates acetylcholine sensitive potassium current, which lead to hyperpolarization and which lead to slowing automaticity in atria, SA node, and AV node. There is also inhibition of calcium current, so there is decreased AV conduction and increased AV nodal uh, increase AV nodal effective refractory period. Therapeutic uses include paroxysmal ventricular tachycardia in emergency case. Emergency management side effects include flushing, chest pain or burning discomfort, shortness of breath, hypotension.